position. Either rise or you fall. I'm on a mission, bringing my dreams to fruition. I ain't playing at all. Bring out the body bags, I'm about to kill them, deliver them to the mortician. I gotta do what I gotta do. That's for my face, back in my face. I gotta do what I gotta do. I pray to God, he never came. I'ma do me, I'ma do me. That's in my blood, I never change. That's in my blood, I never change. That's in my blood, I never change.
What an event, what a finish. Welcome to the WSL Post Show. So much to break down in what has been a dramatic week, but what a finish for this guy, Jack Robinson. The self-belief was incredible. A hometown victory. Margaret River's been waiting 33 years for another one. Dave McCauley, the last to win here back in 1989. But Jack Robinson overcoming the huge task of beating John Florence, a wave that he's dominated for a number of years now. Ronnie Blakey with Shannon Hughes and Richie Lovett. Shannon, that was awesome. We'll get to Shannon in a moment. Rich, elation for Jack Robinson.
Yeah, mate, and I think it really is only starting to sink in. We saw in the post-heat interview, he was almost still in meditative mode. He was still in shaman mode, but now he's letting it all sink in and feeling the energy of the crowd.
He is the Vortex Shaman, but he found an extra gear on the rail turns. He took to the air and he played it perfectly. Strategically, he played a smart game against a guy that's been really baffling people with his power and precision through the contest.
Well, he found a way to beat John Florence, which is an absolute riddle for anyone out here, especially at Margaret River Main Break, because he is the best out here. So to actually unravel that and find the final piece of the puzzle, hats off to him. He's done it.
Shannon, is your mic on?
I think, hello,
yes.
hi world. So
we
excited
there,
that Jack Florence won. Oh my gosh. I mean, I just said Jack Florence. I'm taking after Kai Boat. Jack Robinson just beat John Florence. Congratulations, Jack.
It was huge. It was a huge moment for him and a huge moment for the town. And we heard their reactions after each and every one of his rides. But, you know, he had to turn the energy in his favour because John Florence came into this final on one of those magic runs that generally nobody can stop.
Yeah, it was really unbelievable. I mean, to think of taking down someone just with so much experience and so much winning experience out here, for Jack Robinson, it would have been a massive mental battle to take down John, and he's done it.
Joe mentioned it before too. Last year, Jack won his first championship tour event to keep his place on the CT. Now he finds himself climbing the ratings with a great performance through this Australian leg. And with a victory here, his second final for his second win, he's going to go skyrocketing to the top end of the rankings.
I think he's exactly where he knew he was going to be. I don't think there was ever a doubt in his mind, a doubt in all the team around him. He always knew that his destiny was going to be in the top five, and not for a moment do I believe otherwise. I think he had conviction in the way he surfed today, but he's also had conviction in the way he's mapped out his career path and the way he started to just track through these events and get the results. This kid's on the rise.
Yeah, he performed really well in Mexico, but I think this performance it took him to another level. What he did in that final was the best surfing that we've seen from him in the event window. His best heat score total as well. Let's have a look at how he arrived at the number one position here at the Margaret River Pro. It was a tough draw when you look at the hard rail surfers that he came up against on that bottom side there, Shannon.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, to go up against Jordy Smith, for him to take him down it could have kind of gone either way. But then to come up against Ethan Ewing, Ethan was the informed surfer of the contest up until that semifinal. For Jack Robinson to take him out, to match that rail game, and then to know that he was going to have to take out John Florence, matching both the rail, the power, the speed, but also the air game that both of them could take through was unbelievable.
Anyone else guilty of thinking it was going to be a John Florence, Ethan Ewing final here today?
Yeah.
Come on, Rich. Yeah. Be honest, mate.
In all honesty, I just thought the way that Ethan was surfing, he was potentially going to meet John in the final. But, you know, great to see. Look, either way, we had a double Aussie moving through. So the kind of, you know, I guess the Aussie favourite in me.
I'll let it go,
was pretty happy that either way we were going to get a shot at a victory.
We just want to see good surfing. And in the quarterfinals, Jack brought it. 14.4 heat score total in a tough quarterfinal clash. And this is where he really started to click. You know, he has such a good read on this location. The rail turns just got stronger as he made his run through to that final.
Yeah, they really did. And just he built through the event as well, just started to really tap into the energy today. And you can see with turns like this, timing out here, we know that how important it is. We know that you just have to be absolutely pinpoint accurate to make that final section there. And it's one of the hardest sections in surfing to deal with, the final sections on the wave. And some of these performances on the outside section, Shannon, were just remarkable.
Oh, really just insane. I mean, to think of his knowledge of this wave, I think that's so much about it, is he really feels at one with himself, but he feels at one with this wave so much more than anyone else. And to be able to put himself into challenging sections like that is really just showing that he was ready to bring everything he needed to with all the knowledge to back the performance.
Yeah, 16.27. So this is really the performance that had me thinking, hang on a sec, Jack might have a chance here against John, because it was such a tough draw coming up against Ethan Ewing. He was so focused when he hit the beach. And he did kind of enter that Zen mode, which saw him take the win in Mexico too last year. He's been relatively relaxed and a bit more engaged with the crowd here at Margaret's this year.
Yeah, he has been, but really picking his moments where he zens out. But just look, let's just turn our attention to John Florence here for a second. That opening turn on that wave in the final was possibly one of the best turns of the entire event. So dynamic, and John pushed what he was doing up to that point to a whole new level. Completely
insane. And then Jack Robinson started taking it into the air and had those failures, but then just came back and really just closed the door on John.
Yeah, I said to Joey in the final, you know, this was how he was going to have to beat John. That if he was going to try and match him rail to rail, he was going to come off second best. He took to the air and it ended up being the difference.
Yeah, that was super impressive. I love the air. I just thought the aggression on that next wave, that big carve into the fin throw, was, you know, one of the best combinations I've probably ever seen Jack put together. When you're just talking about keeping your board in the water. But have a look at the numbers. John Florence put up a great performance here at Margaret's once again, but Jack was just too strong. He wasn't having a bar of it. He was going to take the win. That's a really satisfying feeling when you think, okay, how did this go down? And it was a real tussle of excellent scoring rides. There was plenty of waves in the final. It just lived up to expectations, which is great for everyone, great for us, great for the fans, great for surfing. Yeah, from the 24-year-old, it was a big run from 13th position now right up into the top 5 as we head over to stop number 6. And it was a 24-year-old on the women's side getting a victory, her breakthrough win, her maiden win, Isabella Nichols. It was just awesome to see her emotion when she hit the beach. Oh, just so incredible to see her finally get to that space where she finaled last year in her rookie year on tour, but then to actually get that breakthrough win. That's something that goes without most championship tour surfers ever finding. Now for her to find it in that second year is really great to see and to think of her future. And it came at a crucial time, Rich. She saved her place on the championship tour with this victory. Yeah, pretty remarkable really when you're up against a wall like that and you have to fight your way out, having to win the event, to find their place on tour. That's a magical feeling, and to get the win along the way, well, that's just all the everything falling into place at the right moment. Yeah, you got to give big props to Gabriella Bryan too. Amazing rookie run for her, and she saved her place. The only rookie left on the CT for the back half of the season. But let's have a look at Isabella's run through to from the quarterfinals. Didn't have a huge heat score total here, but it was a very close and crucial win. So important over Joanne DeFay for her to just keep her mind in the right place, to be able, especially for this day, the quarterfinals for the women ran the very end of that Saturday, that big day of women's competition. So for her to keep those energy levels up, to just keep things firing, and to go against one of the fiercest competitors in DeFay was really great. And Joanne, quarterfinaled in every event so far. You were just thinking in your mind, oh, well, she'll break through here because she's just been in fantastic form. So, you know, a lot of those surfers on the women's side fighting right until the final stages to give themselves a chance at getting above that cut line. Semi-finals is when Isabella really came to life, and she had a tough draw against one of the locals. Yeah, and Bronte McCauley, well, she was the hometown favourite, and some amazing surfing on her backhand all week long. But Isabella just fighting back with these really aggressive snaps up tight in the pocket. And you can see they're feeding off a little bit of that hometown energy as well. But it speaks to pressure and how you deal with pressure. And Isabella was able to just alleviate the pressure and surf with freedom and really tap into what she's capable of doing. And then we're seeing the highlights now from the final exchange. And, you know, I think having been there last year in the event at Newcastle, losing out to Carissa and just going through all the emotions and feelings that come with cracking your first final really helped Isabella out here in her second effort at chasing the win.
So often that's the case, you know, finding that success but just falling short gives you that strength to come back a second time even stronger. For Isabella Nichols, it was a really smart served heat against a powerful Gabriella Bryan. And they both seemed a little bit lost in the beginning of it, as Richie and I were calling it, and they just couldn't quite find that connection that the men had with the ocean in their final. But for them, that's just as difficult of a heat to win as one where they're in rhythm. For her to be able to come out on top to find the scores, it really has just paid off all the hard work, the dedication that her and her team have put in behind the scenes. And her dad used to literally bribe her with Egg McMuffins in the mornings to get her out for an early surf. All of that bribing has paid off, and she is now a championship tour winner.
Yeah, that is massive, and goes from, you know, battler trying to stay on the CT to now being a contender potentially to battle for a world title at the end of the season. But Gabriella Bryan, you know, she had moments in that final, and she's going to be a threat as we move into that back half of the season, Rich.
Yeah, big confidence boost for Gabriella Bryan in the final. The difference for me was just the vertical attack that Isabella was using versus Gabriella, who was keeping the board just a little bit more horizontal in her approach, but still it's a great result for her, and it sort of sets her up for the back half of the year really well.
We better get down to this presentation, because if we don't hand over to Joe soon, the locals are going to climb up on stage and grab that trophy and give it to Jack for him. But Joe, take it away, mate.
Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, everybody. West is best. How good was that? You guys are all incredible, all coming down to the final day of the waiting period and absolutely scoring main break. We have so much to talk about. To open the proceedings, I'd like to introduce Wadandi cultural custodian Isaac Webb. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Thanks everybody, and it's Kwaba Jananga Buyara. It's good to see you all in country. Nyaramort, our family would like to extend a big congratulations to the runner-up, to John and Gabby. But we'd also like to say our biggest congratulations to Nyon, Jack, and Isabel for their win. So like I say, we hope you've enjoyed being on Warandi Buja on saltwater country. Hope you enjoyed our Nyeri Bujara, our beautiful country, and we hope to Jenanga Buja see you next time on country.
Thank you so much, Isaac. The WSL acknowledges the Wadandi people as the traditional owners of Margaret River region and thank them for welcoming us to their Buja, their country. We pay our respects to the Wadandi community and their elders past and present. The WSL is committed to ongoing learning about local history, culture, and the language of the Wadandi Buja, the saltwater people's country. They have asked us all to walk softly on country, respect the ocean and the waterways. We wish to extend this acknowledgement and respect to First Nations people who join us in person and online. Thank you so much. Welcome everybody to the awards presentation for the Margaret River Pros Top 5 of the World Surf League Championship Tour. This event felt like no other that's happened in the past, with that wild moment of the mid-season cut being really real. We felt more drama at this event than any other in history at Margaret River, and it was a worthy host, a venue like this that really challenges the best in the world. And even yesterday, how heroic was that performance when the surf was gigantic. We get to see the surfers tested, and we look forward to coming back each and every year. The performances are always lifted with power surfing and what's capable on the Margaret River main break. Going back in the 80s of our past champs from ROXY and the crew, and there's a big hiatus from the championship tour. I feel like we're going to be here for a long time. How good is this? Re-signed to have this as a venue on tour for a few more years. We'll be back here all the way through 2024. Thank you to all of our partners, Tourism Western Australia, Shiseido, Red Bull, Oakley, Hydro Flask, Cabayanas, Expedia, Pura Vida, Harvey Norman, Bonsoy, Boost Mobile, Oakberry, Dometic Outdoor, Coopers, GWN, Rusty, Bond University, Healthway, Shire of Augusta, Margaret River. Special thanks as well to Surfing Western Australia, the local community, all the surfers that welcome us to your home break. Thanks for sharing it with us. You guys are absolutely incredible. Check out the trophies. How good is that? Wine barrels, obviously very significant to this region. Thanks so much to our craftsman, Gary Bennett from Jurok, for creating these beautiful and unique trophies, the wine barrels, which are so significant to this region. That's going to be a tradition from here on out. You guys already met Isaac Webb. Give another round of applause to welcome us so well. Also, Jesse Miley-Dyer, a very familiar face, doing a great job for Pro Surfing, the SVP of Tours and Competition. Want a big thanks to Stuart Aubrey, MLA member of Scarborough, representing the Deputy Premier and Minister for Tourism, the Honourable Roger Cook, MLA, and the Minister of Regional Development, the Honourable Alana McTiernan, MLC. Thank you so much. Also, a very familiar face, Andrew Stark. Gets a lot of great waves in between doing a great job over here in Australia as he's running things as the general manager of WSL Asia Pacific. Couldn't do it without you, Starkey. Thank you so much. Let's hand off some wine barrels, shall we? Oh yeah, you've got to win it to drink it, right? It's a new rule. I'd like to introduce your runner-up of the women's final, all the way from the beautiful island of Kauai, a rookie on tour that's going to surf the entire season, Gabrielle O'Brien. How good is this? Podiums, a rookie on tour. Did you know all the scenarios about what you had to do today to survive the mid-season cut?
Yeah, I knew that I needed to make at least a final, and I'm really happy that my first final came when I needed it, and I love WA, and I've had a great time, and I'm so excited to be surfing the back half of the year.
I think a lot of people don't know how many times you've moved this week in the waiting period, but it never affected your surfing. Maybe 4 different accommodations. You really got to see the sights around WA.
Yeah, for sure. I've been all over WA. There's a great crowd here, so I had a hard time finding accommodation, but made it work, and yeah, it was amazing.
It was so clutch on your answer back to one of the greats at main break, Courtney Conlog. That was inspiring for us. Was that one of the greatest feelings of your career so far?
Yeah, for sure. Courtney's an amazing competitor, and her power surfing is something that I really look up to. So it was a great battle, and I knew I couldn't take it easy, and yeah, I was really happy to get one wave at the very end and make the heat.
You probably wouldn't mind doing that again some way down the line with Bella in a final in the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many stops, and hopefully I can get that win. I really want it.
Can't wait to see you all year. Enjoy the moment.
Thank you.
Gabrielle O'Brien, runner-up. I'd like to introduce your runner-up on the men's side in the final. One of the greatest ever to surf here in Margaret River. Give it up for John Florence. Amazing to see what John has done here at main break. Your winning percentages, second to none. You're reliable with your performances no matter what main break delivers. You've got to be really proud to return to the podium once again.
Yeah, so stoked to be in the final, especially against Jack. We've been surfing together forever, and so it was amazing to be in the final against him out here. I know this is his home break, and so I was a bit nervous, but it was a battle. When did you first meet Jack? Jack was like, it's weird for me to say because I'm young, but Jack was like this big. So I don't know, it was a few years back now. I know you guys have been back and forth getting video parts here in the past and doing go-behinds at the box together. How different did it feel being in your first heat together, and it happened to be a final on his home break? Oh, I didn't realize that was our first heat. Damn. But yeah, it felt super good being out there, and I was really stoked to be in the final. I just wanted to serve my best, and yeah, it was quite a challenge.
It's always a treat to watch here in Margaret River. Incredible performance. Enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I just want to say thanks to everyone for coming down, and my wife and Eric and my brother who are here, and we've all had a lot of fun. And thanks, Jack. That was a super fun final. I was stoked to share it with you. And thank you, Margaret River.
John Florence, ladies and gentlemen. Your runner-up here at Margaret River. Now I'd like to introduce your champion in the women's final. Give it up for Isabella Nichols. That's a big barrel. Can you lift that thing straight up real quick? Is it pretty heavy? Oh, the thing is super heavy. You were just a rookie on tour last season. You made a final then. That was impressive. Again, similar to Gabriella's situation, you had to do a lot. You can set it down for a quick. You want to put? Yeah, that's fine. To go all the way, you had to win. You couldn't get runner-up in that final. You had to win it to make that cut. Just like I asked her, did you know what was on the line before you paddled out in that final?
Through the week, I tried not to look at the point systems and what was going on, but I think when I made that semi and I saw Gabby was in the final with me, I knew I had to win to make the cut. But yeah, the goalposts changed throughout the whole week, and first it was a semi, and then it was a final, and then it was a win, and I was like, okay, just keep going, and yeah, it worked out.
Thinking about what you had to accomplish and dreaming of this moment. I remember you talking about last year just surfing against your heroes was big enough, but now to actually stand here and this moment's realized, a CT event champion, how good does that sound to you?
Best feeling in the world. Best crowd here. I can't even tell you in words how it feels right now, because at the start of the day, I was worried about making the cut, and now it's just, I'm so pumped for G-Land, J-Bay, Chopu, Brazil, El Salvador. It's going to be an amazing year, so I'm just so happy to make it.
Special performance, Bella. I'm sure you have a lot of people you'd like to thank.
Yeah, firstly, I'd like to thank Kurt Jacobs for traveling with me. Mike McAuliffe, the local here, he is an absolute legend, and he's helped me out all week, or the last 2 weeks. Friends, family, mum and dad, Xander watching at home, you guys are amazing. I just had a really special phone call with them before, which was lovely. And obviously my sponsors, Gabby, John, and Jack, congratulations on an amazing event. And I'd like to thank the Wadundee people for having us here, and I've really felt the special presence of this area over the last 2 weeks, so thank you so much.
Well done. Enjoy your special day.
Thank you.
Isabella Nichols, your champion here at the Margaret River Pro. You can enjoy watching her compete for the rest of the season and even the start of 2023. As she's already qualified. Well, we've got one man left. I think you guys know who it is. You guys want to help me introduce him? Your champion of the Margaret River Pro. Let's hear it for Jack Robinson. He's done it at home. What a special trophy, winning his first event last year in Mexico. You can put it up real quick, Jack. I got your board for you. Jack, what an incredible day. Just being the eye of the tiger all the way. When you go through your wins, then I heard you took a nap today somehow. 5-minute power nap. I don't know if Ben Rose lied to me or was joking with me, but you've been able to channel that calm energy and then turn it on when you need it the most. That felt like your growth and maturity, your professionalism. It never looked like you were going to lose. So I translate that feeling that we were watching today.
Yeah, I've had a couple naps today. I'm pretty tired. It was a long day. It was a long week, a long waiting period, actually. You know, it was only a short time that I'm here at home on this trip. So, yeah, I'm glad to make the most of it. And, yeah, just happy to be back on the country, back on the land, respect the place, you know, again, and it's good, you know. It's so happy. I'm so happy to be home. Yeah, just trying to channel the energy as well, you know, stay level the whole way through the event. It's pretty hard to do that on tour sometimes. You're always going up and down, and yeah, just trying to stay cool and happy and enjoy this, you know.
What a special welcoming to come back home. It's been 10 months since you've been here. We were talking about that at the press conference. And now to see you taking the big win, what a special welcome back. It's got to be special to do this in front of the people that you love the most.
Yeah, it was so special. Family and friends and wife Julia, she was here yesterday, but she's up in Bali now. So yeah, she'll be watching. But yeah, just really special also to share a final with John. We haven't surfed a man-on-man heat. We had a heat in Hawaii last season. There was 4 people in it though, and he won. And yeah, it was, you know, like he always brings the best out of me, and you know, I hope that's the same for him. So yeah, just happy to go against each other, and yeah, really respect him. So it was super nice to share a good final with him.
You're sitting number 3 in the world heading into G-Land. How good is that?
Yeah, it feels good. It's a long road, you know.
Keep going.
Yeah, it's a long road. You know, you start off slow last year. You know, oh, actually, yeah, last year, huh? So yeah, only been on tour a couple of years. But yeah, and I'm just rising slowly. So yeah, it's better off slow and steady than sometimes a sprint. And yeah, we just try and keep it going, stay good for the next one.
Well, Jack, that was a special performance we'll reference for a long time to slow down the reign of John Florence. And I know you surfed through 4 rounds today on finals day. Rest up, enjoy the moment. I can't wait to see what you do in G-Land.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. Love everybody here. You guys make it happen. Thank you.
There we go. We're going to celebrate. Congrats to our champions. We'll continue the wrap up on the WSL Post Show. Thanks so much, you guys.
Get out of there, Joey. It is going to be a big celebration here in Margaret River tonight. Jack Robinson getting the job done. Isabella Nichols breaking through for her first championship tour win and keeping her place on the CT as a result. But it's an incredible lineup right there on stage.
Such a special moment to see the two of them, 2 Aussies, victorious on home soil.
Yeah, it's been a while. It hasn't happened too often. I think another remarkable point to bring up with John Florence losing out to Jack in that final is he's been in a number of finals, but hasn't lost one since 2017 at the Pipe Masters to Jeremy Flores. So, you know, to get for an underdog to break through, it is a big deal, and to do it at home is massive.
Yeah, that's a big achievement, and just goes to show you that he is beatable and it can be done. And yeah, just such a satisfying moment here for Jack. And I think it had been, I think Joe found the stat. I think Barton was the last one to actually win the event here as an Aussie that 20 odd years ago. So it's been a while between drinks.
And the year before that, Dave McCauley won it, the local. So they've been waiting for an age to have a hometown hero break through here for a victory, but it was awesome to see. But we've got to give credit to John Florence for again putting up the biggest numbers of the contest, and we're going to show you one now. Boost Mobile ride of the day. It came in the quarterfinals, and it was a 9.5. Rich, take us through it.
Well, just some impeccable surfing here. Just the rail work, the power, the precision that John brings to main break here. It really is hard to match. And well, again, props. Just watching this type of performance, how Jack got the win, just would feel good. Just so on edge, just on the accelerator the whole time. So much power, and he's got a special relationship with this wave, but he's figured out a special relationship with his boards and his equipment to bring here, and he's breaking ground, and he's set a new benchmark over the past few years.
It was good to just lift the vibe of this place. Today was all about the winners, the elation in getting those breakthrough wins, and some people saving themselves and getting themselves above the cut line. It's time to get into the conversation because there was a lot of movement at this contest. And this has been one of the most exciting and also dramatic innovations to the CT schedule this year. Stop number 5 brought in the cut. It brought it into effect, and there was a lot of pressure on some low seeds on both the men's and women's side. I think, Shannon, we've got to say on the men's side, they didn't fare as well as they did on the women's side. The performances seemed a little hindered at times, but these are the surfers that made the grade here. And have a look at that lineup. It's going to be an awesome show as we move into the back half of the season.
I mean, it's so exciting. We've obviously got the former world champions, those that have been so close to getting world titles like Felipe Toledo. Then we've got those that have been struggling to find some rhythm this year, that have made those last-minute comebacks like Matthew McGillivray, Jadson Andre, Jackson Baker, those guys making it in above the cut line. We've got some rookies in the mix there as well, which is exciting to see, and a whole bunch of tour veterans that we would have expected nothing less from.
And Rich, another point to make, just on the bottom of the screen there at the right, you qualify automatically for the 2023 season. So those surfers like Jackson Baker, Jadson Andre, Matthew McGillivray, Jake Marshall, Connor O'Leary, who haven't had to face that end-of-year pressure where they're chasing that qualification, they've avoided it altogether and will automatically be there when we kick things off in the new year.
Yeah, well, they're going to be on tour until this point next year. So that's a great achievement, and we saw just an amazing fight from Jadson Andre and also Matty McGillivray, just getting out of trouble there. Just, you could imagine the stress that they've been under for the last couple of weeks going through Bells Beach and to here just fighting for their place on tour. And you've also got to remember there's sponsorships involved here. There's the pay packet. You know, this is their living. This is how these guys make a living. So, you know, there's all these other factors that they're fighting for. So great achievement from those sort of the last couple of entrants into the tour.
Yeah, most definitely. And of course, people did have to miss out, and these are the surfers that fell below the cut line and will now be off tour and chasing glory on the Challenger Series. But there's some big names in the mix. I mean, Owen Wright was hanging on until the last few heats of the final day of competition to see if he just snuck in.
Wild to see the 12-year championship tour veteran off tour. Now, will we see him show up at the Gold Coast? We'll just have to wait and find out this weekend. Some other names in there, like Joao Chianca, put on the performance of a lifetime. He has the third highest average heat total of the men's field right now, and he's fallen off the tour. It's just crazy.
It's amazing. Yeah, you see that often happens with those rookies and low seeds coming into a new year. You've got to get those big breakthrough wins early on.
Yeah, you really do. And another surprising name there was Morgan Siplick, who made the final 5 last year, and now he's off tour and has to fight for his position back on there. But it's doable. We may see them at the start of 2023 if they can make it back on the Challenger Series.
That's right. Connor Coffin too. Can't forget him. But here's what the rankings look like now, and there's been a big shift up. Jack Robinson just climbed so far in 2 events into 3rd position. Ethan Ewing up into that top 5 picture at the moment. Italo made a positive climb, but there was some surfers slipping down the ladder as well there, Shannon.
Yeah, it's crazy just to see how things have worked out, and really now starting to focus towards making it into that top 5 conversation, wanting to have that opportunity for the WSL Finals.
Kelly Slater was a big drop, Rich.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's a huge one. Also, Seth Manise, he'll be looking to fight back there. And, well, Kolohe just hanging around the middle, hasn't really moved too much. Kyo Abelli slipping as well, so lots of movement. It's been such an exciting event for so many reasons. And there you go, Jacko Baker just down in 21 and Jadson Andre there. So fighting for his position back on tour. Everyone loves Jaddy. Great to see him holding his spot.
Yeah, only 2 surfers getting above the cut line from below it as we came into this contest. Jadson Andre and, of course, Matthew McGillivray, who made a big charge. I think he's up in the 19th position on the ladder, and he'll get to surf that hometown event, which it was massively important to him. He was very emotional talking about it.
Oh, just to know that he gets to go home to surf J-Bay, and now that he's got more heat experience on the championship tour, I think he's going to be one of those favorites to take away the win.
Yeah, well, he's definitely going to give it a good shot, that's for sure. Was lacking confidence, so that's what he's going to take from Margaret River for sure. Let's have a look at who made the cut on the women's side. This was probably even a gnarlier, more dramatic story, because we know that only 4 surfers were confirmed coming into this event, and there was always a chance that we were going to see great movement from the back end of the ratings, and there was a lot of surfers that charged hard, and some of them saving themselves. Gabriella Bryan getting to the final, and also Isabella Nichols breaking through for a win, and they managed to climb their way into that top 10 picture.
That was massive. I mean, that was the storyline through today, but when we ran those women's round of 16 and those quarterfinals, there was a lot of different implications on the line. Looking at surfers like Tatiana Weston-Webb, Steph Gilmore, Joanne DeFay, solidifying their place on tour. Courtney Conlog, man, she jumped from way below the cut, and now she's sitting in the top 5.
Yeah, amazing. And the battle is going to be an intense one because, as we know, that field's going to be condensed, and it's going to be awesome to see just that pack of competitors meeting each other earlier on in events now in the big run to that final 5.
Yeah, it's going to make the back half of the tour really exciting. We're breaking new ground, really, with how we're structuring the tour, and it's super exciting. We're going to see big matchups from the very first heats of the events, and, well, there's some pretty gnarly names that aren't in that list now that have made the tour.
Yeah, let's have a look at who fell under the cut line. Malia Manuel was the big one who we knew was in a bit of danger with the surfers remaining in the contest today.
Coming into that final round, she was tied with Isabella Nichols, and Isabella needed to take the win. If it had gone back to that tiebreak, say if Gabby had won the event, then Malia Manuel would still be on tour because she would have won that tiebreak with Isabella, but she is now officially below the cut line. Bronte McCauley had an opportunity coming in today as well, and the rest of the women we lost earlier in the field. Sally Fitzgibbons, 14-year tour veteran, off the CT. G-Land will be the first event Sally Fitzgibbons misses on the championship tour since 2009.
That is wild. Yeah, she's had an amazing CT career, and I don't think it's over. I think Sally Fitzgibbons and Malia Manuel, their experience, I think, will shine through on that Challenger Series, Rich.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think the tour is not the same without Sal. It's just I'm at odds with looking at her on the cut list there, and I feel like she'll just bounce back. She's so positive, and she'll be hard to beat. She'll bring a new energy to the Challenger Series, and she'll be one of the real threats there. So, and also Malia, she's too good not to be on tour, and you just watch, they'll bounce back.
I've got to mention the rookies. The women's rookie class was just out of this world this year. We had 5 rookies, and it was so exciting to see them push the level of surfing for our veterans. They all came out swinging in Hawaii this year, and it really meant that the veteran class who found that mid-season cut qualification, they had to show up in Australia, and the rookies did not go down easy.
No, they performed incredibly well. We've still got plenty to break down on the WSL Post Show. We'll be having a look at the next stop on the championship tour, as well as having a look at the top 5. Welcome back to the show. Ronnie here with Shannon and Rich on what has been a monumental day with some big performances and some massive victories as well. But we now turn our attention to the next stop. And Rich, for you, this is a very exciting one, mate. Last time we were at G-Land competing in Championship Tour events, you're in the draw.
Yeah, that's right. Back in, I think it was 97, the last time we were at G-Land, and it's a very, very special type of wave, and it's almost polar opposites to what we have here. Warm water, tropical, a long reef break, left-hander with a couple of unique sections of it, the best of it being Speedies, which is the end section. And if we get a swell where Speedies turns on, we're going to see some of the best waves in competition we've ever seen.
Shannon, I know you've been talking to a lot of the competitors and just gauging, just how psyched they are to get over there to Grudgeon, and what's the general vibe?
Well, it's definitely been the icing on the cake for those surfers, knowing they're making the cut. They've got the whole year on lock, but they get to go to G-Land. It'll be a first for most competitors on the men's tour, but an absolute first for the women's tour, because we've never seen the women's CT go to G-Land. It's going to be so cool to see them just get to soak in a new experience and to find some really good barrels. All the women want to get barreled at G-Land.
Everyone wants to get barreled. Let's get a vibe on how the competitors are feeling about stop number 6.
What happens when you take the best professional surfers in the world to a remote jungle island in the tropics to compete on perfect waves?
No, I've never been to G-Land, first time. I've heard amazing stories about it.
I have not been to G-Land yet, but I am really excited for a new adventure, a new wave.
I've been to G-Land once. I went with the whole Quiksilver team, and it was me, Jack, and Leo. And we were just these little kids running around, freaking out, scared about every wave that came in. Well, except Jack, he was kind of just charging.
Yeah, I remember as a little kid I went there around 13, and I never went back there again. I haven't been there for about 9 or 10 years, but I remember the reef so clearly and the whole lineup. That has the potential to be top 3 best spots on tour, I feel like, this year if it turns on.
You can't compare it to any wave on tour. It's really special in its own right. It's almost cartoonish how dreamy it gets. G-Land has been on tour before in the 90s, and that was it.
G-Land, looking forward to getting back there. That's the spot that really created the Dream Tour. Our first event that was sent out with daily feeds around the world back in '95 before we had the internet. We felt like we were so remote and away from anything. It's still one of the great waves of the world, and I think always will be. And I think we're all looking forward to getting back there, and it'll be a shred fest.
And the window opens on May 28th. Kelly Slater making the call. It's going to be a shred fest. Winding back the vocab to the 90s as well. But that is going to be an exceptional event, Rich. Joe mentioned there, it's hard to compare it to any other wave on the schedule, but there has been waves like it more recently on the schedule that demand a lot of the competitors. It's not just tube riding. It gives you the opportunity to do turns as well. Yeah,
there's a number of different sections to the reef at G-Land. Money trees, Kongs up the top, and then Speedies, and you can do some turns there. It is high performance, but then the barrel section, and you need to find that riddle and really search out those tubes. But it's going to be a great event. Can't wait to get back in there. And you're actually, you're right out there in the jungle. You're on the tip of the eastern tip of Java there, and just an amazing break. Just so happy we're going back.
Yeah, Cloudbreak obviously was more recently on the schedule, along left, that gave you the opportunity for turns and barrels. Is the experience at that location going to help people here?
Yeah, definitely. There are a few similarities you can draw from it, but we've heard here there's not many of our competitors, men or women. I doubt whether any of the women have even been there before, but maybe just a handful of the men have had experience at G-Land. It's a bit of a tricky wave to actually figure out. It can be quite tidal. It changes with the tide, so it's you wait. They'll all get there. They'll figure it out really quickly, and hopefully we get the swell.
Yeah, some of them might be making the trip over sooner than others, but we do have another event rolling around, and there's been a big mental shift that the people that fell below the cut line are going to have to make now, because we turn our attention to Snapper Rocks and the first event on the Challenger Series, the Boost Mobile Pro. It's going to be a big one, Shannon, and the forecast looks fantastic.
Well, it's been pumping this last couple of weeks. There's been waves dropping through from some of our surfers that have already fallen out this week. They've headed straight there. They've started getting those warm-up reps in. The Boost Mobile Gold Coast Pro is going to be all time. I mean, it's great to know that for those surfers that have fallen off the tour, as heart-aching as that is, they now have a new space to start from. It's a really quick turnaround. That's going to be an interesting challenge for them, I think, psychologically, to have to now go into, all right, they're not going to G-Land. They've now got to work towards their requalification for next year. But it's a great seamless transition into the next stage of things.
Yeah, and some people will be taking better memories into that contest than others. Owen Wright, he fell below that cut line, and back in 2017, he had a remarkable comeback victory there, Rich, after suffering that horrific brain injury.
Yeah, this is a pretty special comeback event for Owen. He's got great memories. And as you said, just, really found his way back onto the tour with an explosive win. It really is one of the most high-performance waves in the world. And the bank is lined up, the swells lined up. And really, we've seen this as a CT event. It's been the opening CT event for many years, and now it's down to a challenger event. We're going to see a huge field taking it on. Get ready. We're about to see some serious action up on Queensland's Gold Coast.
Yeah, Owen, the real veteran that fell below that cut line. His story is going to be really interesting at this contest because he was reticent to really throw a claim out there about what his next move is going to be, but he is going to compete at Snapper Rocks, and I think his performance there will kind of help him make a decision on what his plans are for the rest of the year. But he's lived the majority of his life chasing the championship to a dream, and that's going to be interesting to play out. But have a look at the schedule for the Challenger Series in its induction year, really a full schedule, I should say, and it's looking great.
It looks amazing. I mean, straight after the Gold Coast, it's down to Sydney, so 2 back-to-back Aussie events, and then a bit of a break before the whole crew heads to South Africa, to Ballito, those great beach break, reefy kind of sections that they'll have to manage. Down to the US Open, Portugal, France, Rio now back on the cards for Brazil, and finishing up at Haleiwa at the proving grounds of surfing for both the men and the women.
I love Haleiwa as the last event, Rich. It gives us great opportunities to bring up your win, mate. Yes. I know you don't mind it.
Oh, well, you can keep bringing it up for as long as you want. You just keep doing it. And again, I did mention it earlier in the broadcast because Isabella did sort of a similar thing where she had to win the event to make the tour. That was a long time ago that I did it. So, but I do like what you say, Shannon. It's a proving ground, Hawaii, and it's a great final event to have as the Challenger Series, and always big swell in Hawaii.
We ready to look at some highlights now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's dive into the top 5 moments here at the Margaret River Pro. Stop number 5 on the schedule. Again, classic conditions. Surfed up some barrels here at Main Break, Shannon.
Oh, it was such an exciting day to just see that on offer because we hadn't seen it throughout the rest of competition, and to be able to see guys like John, like Jack, all find their way through the tube and then connect it with that great rail work. Incredible, and love seeing that bit of variety brought to the canvas today.
Yeah, and fitting that we've got barrels as the trophy this year, those wine barrels. Yes. They'll all be filled right up tonight, guaranteed. But it's just amazing. This is a tricky barrel to ride at times, Rich. Very unpredictable, and these guys figured it out.
Yeah, you have to get nice and high on the barrel here at Main Break. And we saw a few of our competitors just ducking and weaving through it there, just completely engulfed in that really long section.
Coming in at number 4, Gabriella Bryan saves her place on tour in a huge heat against Courtney Conlog.
A massive buzzer beater for Gabriella, walked her through with her second excellent score of the event in a clutch performance to guarantee qualification above the midseason cut. And against Courtney, former champion out here, a woman who has dropped excellent scores for rail games as well as her knowledge of the barrel. So this was a huge performance from Gabby.
So good. I love her coach too, Reynolds Hayes, so cool. He just kept it calm, a whole new level. He loved it, and so did Gabriella, her mum Rochelle, and her dad down here watching that huge performance.
You got to put us all in tears.
And then Matty McGilvray, what a performance from him here at Margaret River once again. Matched his best ever finish at this venue, and he couldn't have done it at a better time.
All on the line here for Matty McGillivray, and for some reason he just has this unique connection with Margaret River Main Break, and this is the best surfing that we've seen from McGillivray perhaps to date. Just putting it all on rail. He seems to tap into the power here, and you can see here just the relief, the happiness starting to drift in as it sinks in that he's going to be on tour again for another year.
He was clutch in the early rounds and then really ramped things up with his confidence flying. Coming in at number 2, it was Jack Robinson getting the win, a hometown win over the amazing John Florence.
Incredible performance, just the way that he knew he needed to push the level of progression within the conversation here, knowing that he was going to go beyond the rail game to take down John Florence.
Yeah, well, he had to unlock that air game but he had the whole package, didn't he? He just brought the power, brought the rail, brought the consistency, and he found a way to beat John Florence. Just amazing stuff.
At number one, we had to give it to Isabella Nichols. She needed the victory, and she was in a tough battle against Gabrielle O'Brien, who'd been dropping big numbers throughout the contest. But to be chasing a win and to realise a dream was awesome to see.
Huge. I mean, what an incredible performance from her to bring her style and her grace and her surfing together in a moment where the pressure was probably unlike anything she's ever felt in her competitive career, to get her first championship tour victory and actually take that win, as well as needing to get qualification for the rest of the season, to have her team here on the beach behind her, backing her, to have those phone calls at home afterwards. Today is going to be something that she will never forget.
And we just keep seeing these winners upsetting the dominance of those perennial title campaigners, Rich, on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's just shaping up. The ingredients are there just for a magical year as this is all going to unfold, and just seeing Isabella kind of realise her dream and find her first victory, and now she can start to settle in and really start going, okay, my new goal is to actually make the top 5 and have a crack at a world title. So watching it all unfold is just amazing. It's been an incredible event, really has.
Incredible event, Shannon. We always love our time in the West.
Oh, it is the best.
It certainly is.
The West is best.
Exactly. We've got more big events coming your way. The Challenger Series kicks off on May 7th. The Boost Mobile Gold Coast Pro presented by Rip Curl. Don't miss it. A big thank you to our entire production team, and a special mention to our producer, Chris Smith, who's moving on to new things. So thank you, mate.
Bye, Chris.
Enjoy the show and stay tuned to worldsurfleague.com for all the latest news. We are here for stop number 5, the Margaret River Pro. The pressure's going to be on like never before.
Unfortunately, some competitors are going to be packing their bags.
It's all fun and games until we start losing surfers on the CT.
Oh my God.
Oh! Look at the bite!
Big, same as last year, but just a little chopped up.
All right, let's do it. You can't stop now.
Onto the lip hook. Hits it hard off the top, and Callum hangs on.
You can't stop
That take a full airdrop into a huge carve. Gets completely axed.
Ryan Callanan.
What a great snap.
There's no way that felt good.
And a monster finish.
Just hung on by his toenails. Classic. No one does it better in John. It's his signature move. In full flight.
The cut is officially here.
Dreams will be broken today.
Tyler Wright is back in a big way, just looking so confident.
Oh, it's a great turn from Isabella.
by my window.
Luana Silva in a clutch situation.
On one cold and cloudy day.
It's going to be a heartbreak situation for her now.
Big swing.
Big frontside hook.
Let's go rolling for the
What a performance from Bronte.
India throws her head back in disgust.
A look of anguish is certainly not safe now.
Oh, just been knocked out of the event.
This has just been the most bizarre day of competition surfing we've ever seen. Hold on, take it.
Thanks, I'll take it. Gabby Bryant keeping herself above the cut line.
Competitors getting set on what is the second last day of the event window. Drives up into it.
This will be a tough blow for Morgan Siblick.
Back to the Challenger Series.
He was just on his tippy toes making that drop.
And he goes up for a huge hit. He pulls it off.
Look at these board, it cavitates.
You live your whole life through a 3-inch string. You live your whole life through a 3-inch string.
So the victors go the spoils. It's just how it is. And his opponent has not been able to go with him.
Just that Andy Iron style.
Giant wave.
Oh my Lord, take this soul, lay me at the bottom of the river.
Good morning and happy finals day. Cool morning here at Main Break, looking at beautiful waves coming through.
Into the tube, of course he does.
From the gallows.
And here goes Maddie working this one over.
Now heading out into semi-finals. Isabella Nichols is your Margaret River Pro champion.
Jack Robinson wins at home. This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.